Hi everyone, it's Jen from Around the World in 80 Cakes, and today I want to show you a real quick video on how I am making brain cookies for this Halloween. So really all you need is some really cold cookie dough. It has to be really cold to work with, so I only take part of my dough out of the freezer or out of the fridge at a time to work with it, and the rest I have still in the fridge. So as this warms up, I can swap it out with a cold one. But basically I use a nice little 1 tablespoon scoop to measure out about a tablespoon of dough. So if you have a scoop like that, that's really handy. And then I just roll it out to kind of get like an even log so that I can divide it in half. This is about an ounce of dough, so each half of the brain uses half an ounce of dough. Okay, so now I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to start rolling it out in between my hands to make a log. And once it starts getting longer, I'm going to put it down on the surface, the lightly floured surface, and start rolling it out even longer. So if I see one side getting a little too thick, I'll just focus on that side, get it nice and even, and you basically want to roll it out to a 9-inch rope. That's the magic number I have found. I use my ruler to see where I am, not quite there yet, keep going. Work it out from the middle. Don't pull on it too much because otherwise the dough could break. But you want to be very gentle with it. And like I said, the colder it is, the easier it is to do. All right, that's getting pretty close to 9 inches based on my ruler. I think we're good. So to make one of the halves of the brain, you're basically going to start at one end and you're going to start kind of spiraling or zigzagging the dough on top of each other. So that's 1 turn, 2 turns, and 3 turns. I'm just kind of zigzagging it, and then this piece will come down to be like the center of the brain. And then what I like to do is use just a paintbrush. This paintbrush I only use for cake decorating and food, not for paint. And I just kind of brush a little bit of water on here to kind of get the ends to stick together. And then lift this so that it's just sitting on top of that middle part. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can kind of pinch it all together once we're done. And then we're going to make the other half and connect them. And if you have a little bit hanging over like that, I just cut it right off. So that's one side of the brain. I'm just going to move it to the side, and then we're going to work on the other half. So just like before, roll it out between your hands, and then work on the surface itself. Make sure you don't damage the other side. All right, I'm at my 9 inches. So just like before, I'm going to zigzag. 1 turn, 2 turns, and 3 turns, and then bring the excess down. Now this I want to flip over because I actually want it to be the opposite side of the brain. So once again, paintbrush with just a little dab of water to kind of get it all to stick together. And then I'm going to lift it so that it's slightly on top of that middle piece. If I bring my other one in, now I can kind of pinch them together a little bit more. And like I said, when you have a little bit excess, just use a knife, some sort of flat edge to kind of cut it off. And you can put a little water in between the two halves so that they stick. But once it actually starts to bake up, it does a pretty good job of sticking to itself. So then you move that gently onto a parchment lined cookie sheet. And once you fill your cookie sheet, I recommend letting the cookie sheet sit in the fridge for about 15 minutes before putting in the oven to bake. And so some of the ones I have over here, I actually put a little raspberry in the dough to make it sort of gray. You could use pink food coloring in the dough to make it look more brain-like, or you could just do it plain and then brush a little like raspberry jam or some sort of food coloring on it and paint it after it comes out of the oven, whatever you like. So enjoy making brain cookies this Halloween.